Hello there, I'm Reverend Nhien, founder of Evolving Enneagram. We are in week 8 of a 52-week Sunday talk series based on this book by Oren Sofer, Your Heart Was Made for This. I hope you've been enjoying this inner exploration in which we've been focused on topics that are really about your attention, the quality of your attention. Last week we focused on mindfulness and how the Enneagram might impact your mindfulness. This week, we are focused on the topic of concentration. In particular, the theme of this week is actually the Enneagram of Holy Ideas. And so we'll look at playing peekaboo with the universe and what that means in relationship to the Enneagram and our spiritual, contemplative, compassion-based journey. So, ready? Let's begin. Okay, so a little background about me. I grew up in a family of 5 kids, second oldest, and so I was very comfortable with little babies running around, changing diapers, holding babies, and also playing peekaboo. So when I read this chapter about concentration, I'm going to tie it in together by the end, so trust me on this. What came up for me is the game peekaboo. So basically what you do, right, is you cover your face in front of the baby, and you go, boo, right? And the baby usually gets a kick out of it, laughs so hard, and it's just this delightful game that we play. It's just a game. When I thought back to this game, Peekaboo, just in the context of this chapter on concentration, what I learned is that the reason babies get a kick out of this is that based on the psychologist Piaget's research, there's something about object permanence that babies are still developing a sense for. So it's this idea then that if the object, in this case my face, disappears from view, the baby believes I'm gone. So it's this moment of wonderment and surprise as I have reappeared, as if I disappeared, if I went out of existence and then came back into existence, right? And when I thought about that, I thought about how sometimes the divine spirit showing up in my life feels like that. It feels like there's a sense of wonderment, oh my God, this is mystical, magical. It's like God wasn't there, and in this moment I fully feel the presence of, or I would even say, if we want to kind of model this idea, the face of God, that the face of God was covered and has now reappeared, and I experience it in great wonderment and delight. Well, since the beginning of teaching the Enneagram, my teachings have been founded on Facets of Unity, which is essentially facets of unity. Another way of saying it is faces of God. And there's this idea that the divine has not gone anywhere, that it is ever present, all love, all wisdom, all perfection in you, as you, through you, all around you, in your life, in our lives. The issue, though, is that coming into this incarnation, really becoming human, what happens is that each of us falls into an illusion of sorts, right? So there's limited perception that happens as a part of becoming human. And in this incarnation, we are situated so that we have lost sight of one face of the divine, one facet of unity, one face of God again. And so based on this, to the extent that we're unlike the baby, the face, it's a little traumatizing if the face of the mom or the face of the parent doesn't return, right? So there's a trauma around it. And there's a teaching that basically from Hamid Ali, that each of our Enneagram types develops as a compensation almost for that loss of awareness with one face of unity, one facet of unity. And so that facet is called a holy idea. So if we were to see the divine as it truly is, we would see that face of God in a way where we wouldn't then be continually searching for it in the world through these other proxies for that one face of God. And I'm going to read from an excerpt from that book, Facets of Unity. Each Enneatype fixation is the expression of a limited mental perspective on reality. and that each of the 9 egoic perspectives is the direct result of the loss or absence of the enlightened perception of one of the holy ideas. The holy ideas then are objective views of reality, reality seen through the eyes of our natural condition. We call them ideas because they are the perspective of the awakened center in the head, the higher intellectual center. They are 9 different perspectives of reality seen without the subjective filter of the ego, right? So it's as if each of our egoic structures coming into this world have a kind of filter that blocks this face of reality from us, and then our type develops to compensate for that loss. It strikes me that when I continually try to focus on matters in my life that my head or my ordinary awareness, I would say, my egoic awareness thinks is important, and when I find myself doing that and struggling, what thing I can realize is that maybe there's nothing wrong with the fact that I'm struggling to focus. Maybe it's a sign that I'm actually trying to discern what matters in the outer world, but I've lost sight of my focus on this face of God in the inner world, as if I'm looking for the match, for the face that matches a face that I can only see through the eyes of faith, not through my worldly eyes. Again, from the Bible, judge not by appearances, but judge with right judgment. From a unity perspective, we're saying that judge not by the outer manifestation, but look inward and judge with right or righteous judgment. So what would happen if this week, what you focused on, maybe starting in the morning each day, was the holy idea for your Enneagram type? And again, this is tricky to talk about because I'm not just saying sit there and think about it intellectually, but simply take on the possibility, lay hold of the possibility of that universal truth represented by that holy idea. So the holy idea for type 1 is the holy idea of perfection. So I invite you, if you identify as a type 1 this week, to begin the morning with a meditative reflection, holding the possibility, even if you're not seeing it when you judge through the eyes, worldly eyes, that you're seeing holy perfection, but opening to the holy idea that perfection underlies the universe. And then considering if you're a type 2, there's a combination of holy will and holy freedom, which is that there's this desire of the universe expressing sort of equally on behalf of all, and it does not need your special efforts to bring that about in the world. And so you then come into a space of humility, recognizing that, right? And so holy will and the holy freedom of letting go of having to be that special dispenser of meeting people's needs, if you will. So number 3, the holy law says the activity of the universe, the action of the universe is just unfolding without you needing to do something extra on top of it, right? And so trusting in that and just letting yourself steep in that truth each morning this week, and just seeing what happens and how that prioritizes your day naturally. And so for the 4, holy origin is the holy idea, and this is the notion that you have never separated from your source. You have never been abandoned, that you are part of the belonging and fabric of all of existence. You don't need to, do anything special to have that be part of your truth, and you inevitably express what is unique and special just by virtue of being you. There's no extra effort that is needed in that regard, right? For the 5, holy omniscience and holy transparency together are this knowing that it's almost like there's this Persian rug, and it's one rug, but through the lens of omniscience and transparency, you see the uniqueness of the different parts of it, including you, but you recognize still that you're not separate from that. You are not an island like the ego of the 5 would think, but instead, even though you are distinct, you are part of the beautiful tapestry of life. And so for the 6, holy faith and holy strength are the holy ideas. So I invite you to concentrate your energies and opening to that truth beyond your head knowing, but allowing something bigger than you to inform and support you, to have this notion that spirit is the essence of your being, and therefore you are grounded in spirit no matter what the outer circumstance, no matter how much outer uncertainty. There is a surety inside of you, says holy faith and holy strength, when you have vision to see that. And then for the 7, holy plan, sometimes also holy wisdom is the facet of the holy idea relevant to your number. And so there's a trusting in there that like with the 3, there's an unfoldment of the universe, but in this case, it's like the unfoldment is for good, right? And then you don't have to go make that good happen for yourself to make sure that you are a recipient of life's beneficence and nurturing, but that this is intrinsic to the working of the world. And just remembering that if you can let yourself be in the wisdom of the now, which is your holy work, which is another facet of your holy idea, holy work, holy plan, and holy wisdom together, that you will have everything you need, right? If you can trust the moment. And then for the 8, holy truth is the holy idea. And so we want to remember there that holy truth is about the knowing of the unity of all life. This is like the holy idea for the 5, except for in the 5, you're looking at the distinctions. And here you're really feeling into just the one fabric. You're looking at the rug as a whole, not necessarily the individual shapes. And so for the 8, that healing salve of knowing all is truly one. Therefore, there is truly nothing and no one that is against you, even though the world will seem to look like that, but again, judge not by appearances, but judge with right or righteous judgment and feel into that holy truth. And then finally, the holy love is the facet of unity that the 9 has lost sight of, lost connection to in awareness, but not in truth. And so as a 9, holy love's a little bit tricky. We're not talking about like a sense of love that we often talk about with respect to 2s. It's almost like there's this overall, bliss is a good word, like positivity of the universe, and it enfolds and includes you. You are part of that daylight, if you will, of life, and you are not excluded from it. You are not in the shadows, right? Like you matter, that you shine, in fact. And so understanding that these are holy ideas, aspects of reality, not just true for you individually, any of you, but true for all. And it's just that your type will have tend to lose sight or connection of this on this idea more than others, and then try to make up for it by focusing on certain things in the world. So we take our concentration, and instead of bringing it out there, we bring it in here in prayer, meditating on our holy idea. Keep thine eye single to the good, from the Bible. I want to end with a great passage from Oren J. Sofer. He writes, "Consider the process of concentrating as being like speaking to a friend in a crowded, noisy cafe. You don't need everyone to leave or be silent to converse. You focus on your friend because you want to. Even if you look away, you come back and reconnect. You sustain attention moment by moment, and concentration builds like individual drops of water flowing into a stream. You can learn to steady your attention in any activity in the same way. Relax, be curious, and give yourself to a task or project. Explore how connection and willingness support focus. What I love about this is it makes me think about our relationship to the divine as that friend. Yeah, there's other stuff going on, but if I could regard that face of God with that kind of friendly, open devotion, what would happen? I don't know. You tell me. I invite you to consider the practice and engage it this week and report back in the comments below or in our Contemplative Practices and the Enneagram groups. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye bye.